Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. You can find updates there regarding Elevating Traders, join discussions, share ideas. I share ideas there as well. So if you are looking to join the community, make sure you check it out, link in the description, and also at the top of the chat. But good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. Himanshu, yes, we'll take a look at US 30. Ahmed, good morning. Hope you are well as always. So we'll take a look at the USD side of things as we normally do. We'll go through DXY, USD majors, gold, silver, and some indices as well. Of course, any specific request or specific timeframes, let me know, and we will take a look-see. But it does look like dollar is starting to retrace. It looks like we're finding some strength for the USD, which again we're anticipating. The market's been incredibly bearish for the past a couple of weeks now, especially with that move a couple of weeks ago. But since then, the market has kind of been rounding off a little bit, very kind of slow moving price action, very choppy. And it looks like we are finding support here. So naturally, we do expect price to have a bit of a push to the upside. But of course, I am still expecting a lot more downside in the longer term. Looking on the daily chart, we have come back into a nice level of support here. It looks like we're struggling to break through that. There are a few levels which I'm looking to short from. So this is where I'm looking for price to pull back towards 104.5. And I also really like this level here at 105.5. It depends how big of a pullback we see with the dollar, how much momentum there is. If I whip out the fib, you can see it lines up pretty well from 0.5. So I do really like 105.5. But because we've had such a big drop, there's a lot of momentum in the market. We may only just get to 104.5 before rolling over. But I do expect to see a bit of a relief for the USD, which looks like it's creeping into the market ever so slightly here. This 4-hour candle will close in the next 50 minutes. If it can close like that, I do think we'll see some upside maybe for the next couple of days for the dollar. So a retracement for the USD pairs. Again, my expectation, if I zoom out to the weekly chart, my expectation is still very much a swing back to the 101, 100 region. So I still do see a lot more downside. But first, I do think we'll go through a bit of a correction, as any market would do. We're not going to fall in a straight line. We will have at least some type of correction, even if it's very, very slight. So looking for some upside for USD, for some downside later on. And it looks like we're seeing the exact same thing with Euro as well. Euro struggling at the highs here at 1.09. You can see again kind of that rounded type of price action. Prices go making higher highs to now equal highs and really failed at the high there. And it looks like we are selling off a little bit there. So Euro USD, I'm still very, very bullish on this market, but it looks like it's time to see some downside. Again, I really like the level here at 1.07800. And I also like the level here on the daily chart as well. So these are the areas I'm keeping a close eye on for the pullbacks to see more upside from. Again, longer term expectation is I'm looking for 1.1, 1.1, 1.11, potentially even 1.3, all the way up with those at those highs there in the long term. So I'm very, very bullish on Euro. However, it looks like it's time to see a bit of a correction, which is something I'm glad about, because there was a chance that Euro could have kind of just slowly kind of continued to the upside and made things a bit awkward. But now that we're seeing some retracement, it might give some really nice swing opportunities maybe in the next coming days. So keeping a close eye there for Euro. It looks like we are breaking out of this kind of ascending channel here. And with that breakout, expecting a push to 1.077. And if you have a deeper correction, 1.06 is what I'm looking for price to get to. Heading over to pound USD, again, similar situation there as well. Price looks like it's starting to struggle. Hasn't really seen as much momentum as we've seen with Euro. Looks like Euro is slightly weaker than pound in general. So that's been slightly more bearish, but pound USD, again, moving in this ascending channel. Typically, when we see price in this type of characteristic, we are expecting us to break to the downside here, especially given the fact that we've been bullish for a while, since basically this low on the 13th of Jan. We've seen a really nice uptrend, and especially with this move here as well, I do think a correction is likely. On the daily chart, we broke through some structure not long ago as well. So that might instigate a bit of a pullback. And I like this area here a lot at 1.27. Nice brief range down the daily chart, sharp break to the upside. If price would be kind enough to retest that, I think that's a great place to go long. And again, long term, I do think there's a possibility we get back to the highs there at 1.34. Basically continuing this uptrend, especially if euro gets to 1.13, then I do think pound USD will follow suit and get to 1.34, especially if dollar gets to 100 as well. So we could be seeing a lot more upside for pound USD. It's just about timing and making sure you're not jumping the gun too early. But at the moment, there's some supply on the left that price is struggling at. And I do think this is bearish territory. And if you're looking for sells, a break of that trend line might be a nice short opportunity to take price back down. And we'll see if we can find some longs later on. But this is still the setup I am after. Dollar CAD, I'm still holding this position. I'm going to see what we can do at this candle close. If we do break above that level, I'll probably just close the trade a bit early, because at the moment we've had a really strong bounce off that support level, and I've been wanting price to, of course, break through. So if we do clear this level here at 1.436, which at the moment looks like we're doing, but we'll wait for the candle to close, I'll probably just close the trade early and to take the profits of what I have, because my expectation is still dollar CAD back to the areas down here, 1.415. Again, the plan for dollar CAD is impulse down, correction, looking for another impulse. But if we are going to push to the upside, I'll probably just look for a re-entry rather than holding to this one, because I probably can minimize my risk a bit better, maximize my risk to reward. So I'll probably just be looking for another re-entry around 1.45 back in that level. We've got one stab, second, potentially a third, and that could be what does give us the big sell. So I'm still very short biased there for dollar CAD, but if we do not hold that level there, I will close the trade early and then hopefully look for re-entries to get back in the trade. Because for dollar CAD, we're still trading at some really big levels. If you look to the left here, so I do expect to see a pretty big sell-off, especially if dollar DXY gets to 100. Of course, it would depend on what CAD is doing, but I do expect to see some retracements. But at the moment, looking very bullish, and especially if DXY is going to retrace as well, that should insinuate more strength for CAD, dollar CAD. So I have to watch out for that. But yeah, in terms of opportunities, I will be keeping a close eye on the retest of 1.45 again for another sell opportunity. So something like that, keeping up those lower highs, 1, 2, 3. That could be a really nice short there in the next coming days, unless we, of course, pull back and respect that zone, and we might sell off from there. Aussie dollar, this one's been pretty bearish. Looks like Aussie and NZD are a little bit weak right now. Of course, we saw USD is a little bit strong, but looks like Aussie, the currency, and NZD, the currency as well, is pretty weak. We're falling pretty aggressively to the downside here. I'm still very bullish on Aussie dollar. I do think price can turn around. However, I don't know how far price could push. I mean, like I said, coming into the week, the only areas which I do like buys for Aussie dollar is if we can break structure, so clear the highs here, then pull back, which we didn't do, or we have a push all the way down here, then I look for some longs here. That's the only areas which I'm looking at. So we're still pretty far away from a push to that area. I'm not really seeing any safe places for stop loss in this kind of area, because even this low didn't create new higher highs. It's not really a strong low to back. At least the low here, I know we're right at the extremes, and we've seen a lot of rejection as well. So that's really where I would like to find a long. At the moment, of course, a lot of bearish momentum. We'll see how far that goes. Do we end up taking structure, or do we respect support? At the moment, it's very, very choppy conditions here for Aussie dollar. And if we keep melting and breaking through structure, I do think there'll probably be some short-term sells, probably like the 30 or hourly time frame, to take advantage of. But all in all, it is very, very sideways market right now for Aussie dollar. So don't want to get too caught up in the price action inside of this kind of area, because that's where you're going to see a lot of fluctuation, and that's a good chance to lose some money really with Aussie dollar. NZD looks a lot better because we've actually broke the highs and we did it really well. NZD is selling off pretty hard too, so it looks like NZD and Aussie are very, very weak at the moment. But if we can see some rejection here, I do think this is a nice place for a trade, because we have been putting some higher highs and higher lows. And if we can respect this, there's a good chance another higher low can fall. Of course, being a bit careful because USD could still be a bit strong. So I'm being a little bit cautious because of that. But I'm expecting some retracement with USD. So I don't necessarily want to buy NZD USD just yet. Couldn't get my words out there. So I don't want to buy it just yet because I'm still expecting USD strength. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how price respects it. Of course, it's looking extremely bearish right now, but that can change very quickly. But yeah, a lot of momentum right now for NZD and Aussie right now. In terms of gold, gold was very bullish. Yesterday it ended up breaking out the consolidation. Looks like it's shooting back inside though. Ooh, we're seeing a lot of momentum right now. I wonder what's going on because the markets are moving quite a lot. Anyway, I spoke about a range over here, 29.90 as a nice place for a long. I still think that's a nice place for a buy, to be honest. The price can get back down there. The retest of this range also looks good as well, but I need to see some rejection pretty soon. Otherwise, I would watch out. I mean, this candle still has 42 minutes before it does close, so a lot can happen in that time. But we don't want to see strength coming back down. The idea is that we've had a strong breakout of this candle, and now prices correctively coming back for a retest to perhaps continue. If we're selling off really aggressively, well, that's just not really a characteristic of a retracement, is it? So I would watch out for that. If it does clear this range here, then of course the next area of interest would be that 29.90 area, more or less around 3K, and that would be an interesting place for a buy. So I'd watch out for that for gold. At the moment, we are testing an area which could provide support, but I would keep an eye on the hourly, probably 30-minute chart as well to see how that candlestick closes and how it forms, whether we start rejecting or we start just bleeding through. But it is looking pretty bearish this morning. I'm keeping a close eye on silver because silver, of course, had the big break of resistance not too long ago. And I'm looking to see, wow, silver's looking very bearish there on the 30-minute candle there. But yeah, silver's having a bit of a sell-off as well. It looks like USD markets are moving quite a lot right now. But I'm liking silver a lot because, of course, we've broken through resistance here. So this level here at 32.5, we've well and truly cleared that level. And of course, we've got the lovely high up here at 34.829. That's what I'm expecting price to get to. So if we can come back for a retest, that would be absolutely brilliant. And potentially looks like that's what's happening, of course, with all this momentum here. The fact that we are clearing support here as well is also a strong sign. Of course, that candle hasn't closed yet, but it looks as if we're doing that. So perhaps we do get that pullback for silver around 32.5. And then the plan is look for the next high low, just like we've been doing throughout this market structure over here. Find the next high low, and of course, see if we can trade it back to the high. So it could be a really nice swing trade brewing up here for silver. Wow, we're looking very bearish at the moment, aren't we? A lot of momentum. Is USD very strong? Or okay, yeah, DXY is pushing up pretty hard. Interesting. But yeah, it looks like we are seeing some strength in the dollar. But that's good because I've been looking for a bit of a pullback. So hopefully we can get some shorts probably sometime next week or maybe the week after. Anyway, where was I? Tashi, good morning. Hope you're well. Darkashon, looks like GJ's bearish as I predicted. Yeah, the yen pairs, I was seeing a lot of downside. We had a big reaction from that zone. GJ is looking very bearish indeed. What's up, CS Integrated? Hope you're well. I guess a bit lucky to catch the DXY pullback twice yesterday. Okay, nice. Had a couple attempts at it. Yeah, I mean, it looks like that 103 kind of 250 area held very, very well. That support held and looks like we're having a strong reaction. Didn't you say your target's around 104? I think we're trading around that, aren't we? 104, yeah, more or less coming into 104 now. So yeah, really nice bounce from that level, and we'll see how this candle closes. It's got another 38 minutes before it does. But yeah, if it does close well, we could see a lot more upside here for the USD. Yeah, a bit of a correction. I mean, I've marked out the fib from the high to low. 50% is all the way up there. That's a possibility as well. But I'll see what we can do at 104.5 first. What's up, the high elf? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Pound NZD's ripping. Made some nice profits since this morning. Nice. We'll take a look at pound NZD. But yeah, with that NZD and Aussie weakness, I can imagine. I haven't actually looked at the pair, but I can imagine seeing some upside. We'll take a look at US 30 first, though. I'll go for a couple of indices because I did say that I'll do that at the beginning. What's up, Holy One? Welcome to the stream. Aussie USD CAD, my one I still never crossed, so didn't bother getting it. Okay, H4 MA and buys. So definitely no trade. Okay, yeah, we are seeing a lot of strength there for dollar CAD as well. I might potentially close my trade a little bit early if we do break resistance, which at the moment looks like we're doing. So if we close above that, I will look to pull the trade a little bit early and potentially see if I can get some re-entries back at 1.45. But it's been a strong rejection at 1.43. I was looking for that level to break. Looks like we haven't got the breakout. Okay, next, same setup as you, 104.5. Yeah, depending on price action, of course. Yeah, exactly. You mark on your areas, and depending how price gets there, how we react will justify it being a trade or not. But yeah, 104.5 would be an area I'm interested in. Let me quickly go through US 30, then I'll take a look at pound yen, and we'll probably go through some of the yen pairs. I'll take a look at pound NZD as well. So yeah, US 30, we did see some upside yesterday. It looks like we're having a little bit of trouble right now, maybe because of USD being so strong. US 30 and the other US indices might struggle a little bit to the upside today. We're still more or less kind of trading around this resistance area here on the left, so I'd watch out for that. Previous support now flipped to resistance. We're kind of struggling at that area. Actually, let me keep that on the market. So with US 30, I still like the continuation of this momentum here from the past couple of weeks, basically looking at a pullback of that for some more downside. I'd want to see much bigger of a pullback, as I suggested the past couple of days. These are the areas I've been looking at for some shorts for US 30. So I would want to see more upside, and we're not quite there yet. I'm not a big fan of the break and retest of that low because the breakout hasn't been big enough. So US 30 longs, I mean, we are coming back into support right now. I suppose I'm not a fan of the price action either. It's kind of like we've kind of sold off a cliff there a little bit. Unless we can see some really strong rejection, then maybe there could be some longs because we are pretty consistent with these high lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 there as well. So we could see another high low form, but this isn't exactly clean bullish structure. It's looking very tired, and the fact that we're filling at highs very aggressively there does put me off the fact of US 30 longs. I wouldn't be surprised if you have a bit of a sell-off back to the low there. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of US 30 longs. I would have liked to have gone to the trade a lot earlier. Now that we've kind of already seen some upside, I think some buys are a little bit late to the party right now. Potentially, if you can see some really strong rejection and the formation of a higher low, perhaps maybe this afternoon or tomorrow, there might be some nice buys there. I'm not going to rule that out, but I have to say, judging the fact that we kind of just cleared the highs and now we're selling off really aggressively, it's not really looking great for buys right now for US 30. And of course, the fact that we are still trading at resistance there as well. So be careful of that. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of US 30 longs. If we come back down again, then sure, but not at current price. Yeah, it's not in a great position. What's up, FX Wolf? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. So pound yen, yeah, the yen pairs are looking pretty bearish this morning and yesterday. Had some big reactions for all of them, pretty much. Pound yen is looking very bearish. Looks like we rejected that high there. Really strong rejection after the candle closed yesterday on the 4-hour chart. Really strong rejection there. Price has been selling off. Now we are coming back to some areas of support. I'm not so keen anymore in terms of a big push to the upside. I've been eyeing up the yen basket, and I'm not so keen on the push to the upside anymore. Again, it's a bit difficult to be getting to some shorts now. Probably need to see a bit of a pullback, potentially maybe even a retest of the high could be a nice trade in the lower time frames. Something like that could be a nice opportunity, correction, retest the high, and a continuation. But overall, pound yen's a bit of an awkward place right now, at least for the sellers. There might be some short-term buys, but judging momentum on the higher time frames, judging the end basket as well, I won't be surprised if the bigger push, the bigger sell is going to kick in. Again, expectation is still a push to the low here. I was looking for pound yen to push a little bit higher. I was looking more or less around 196, 197. We had a nice trend line here as well. So I was looking to see price will push a little bit higher, form the higher low, lower high, and then give us the sell. Maybe price is just doing that about 50 pips, 100 pips earlier than I expected there. But yeah, we are seeing some nice momentum. The end basket is looking like it's about to flip as well. We'll discuss that in a moment. But yeah, pound yen is looking pretty bearish here. And I think in terms of the shorts, if you can see a bit of a correction, could be a nice little position around 193, perhaps coming back to retest that high, and possibly a continuation. Got some nice support there to target there as well. We could go a lot further, but I think just playing it a bit safe because it is still a very, very choppy market at the moment. FX Wolf, EJ showing some sell moves. What's your take? Yeah, I'm actually shorting Euro yen. I jumped into a short last night on the 4-hour time frame as the daily candle closed. I'll quickly go through pound NZD, then I'll go through Euro yen. Yeah, dollar CHF did. Yeah, another USD pair did take a mad bounce at the support. So yeah, I mean that's a good thing with having your targets as well. Knowing when to exit a trade is just as important as knowing when to enter, because you can enter a good trade, it goes well in your favor, but then if you don't exit well, you know you can lose those profits very, very quickly. Trading at night. No, I was just taking the 4-hour close, but it was the same time as the daily candle close. So it was 9 p.m. when the candle closed. I didn't take it till 10 p.m. But yeah, I'm not trading at night. Yeah, I'm getting ready for bed. It's just that's when the candle closed. Anything past the daily candle close, I'm not really interested in. So we'll take a look at pound NZD, which I would imagine is pushing to the upside. Yes, it is. Look at that. It's a very big candle today. Yeah, so with NZD looking pretty weak, Aussie looking pretty weak, I would imagine a lot of these crosses are pushing up pretty hard. Again, the overall trend for them is still up, but I do expect to see bigger correction at some point. I did say some buys look good for them as we approach these areas. Again, not quite hitting that level before seeing some upside. Now, as we do see some upside, we're approaching back into bearish territory, so I'd watch out for that. As we come back into this area here, I would watch out for some selling pressure kicking back in around 2.26, because this is where we had a lot of the momentum last week, and we could see some sellers step back into the market. If you are long, now I think having targets around there make for a good decision, at least for some partial targets anyway, even if you are targeting the high. But yeah, pound NZD still showing a lot of momentum as we approach that supply area. I'd watch out for that for the sellers. Not really keen about selling pound NZD just yet. I'd rather price push right back to the high first, so I can get some stops right above the high and really maximize that opportunity. Stops kind of in around here. You're kind of asking for a trouble a little bit. But yeah, I still do expect a lot more retracement, but we'll see how far that push does last for. At the moment, looking very, very bullish. What's up, Verogams? Welcome to the stream. Didn't see your message there. Hope you're well. That's when you go for 30 pips, holding on too long each of my profit. Okay. Where's you out? Fair enough. Yeah, it's true, especially when you're looking for a swing trade. No, you're not going to get a swing where it just kind of moves in your favor the whole swing, especially if you're looking to hold overnight and potentially over a week as well, because there will be different cycles in the market when it goes for you or against you. So again, it depends on your personality and what you're looking for the market and what you want. Um, if you're not really comfortable with swinging trades for long, then of course don't entertain the idea. And same thing with the short term. If you don't like the fast pace of the lower time frames, then of course jump to the higher time frames. It really just depends on what you fancy, to be honest. But yeah, in terms of euro yen, I did hop into a short for this one on the well, it was equivalent to the daily candle closure, but I also was basing on that 4 hour candle there. It was just at the same time. But yeah, I've been eyeing up euro yen sells for the past couple of weeks, to be honest, keeping an eye on this one to short it. We came back into a really nice area of confluence. I was speaking a lot about that trend line there. We had the first test, second, looking for the third. We actually did break for it, but then we had a really aggressive sell, which got us back underneath the trend line. So the way I'm looking at this is with especially keeping into consideration what the weekly chart is doing. It looks like we just kind of had a big piercing wick through that trend line, tapping into some nice resistance there as well, and possibly could be ready to kickstart that sell back into support, which is kind of where I'm targeting. I'm expecting price to take out the wick low, so that's kind of what I'm trying to hold to. But if at least we can get to support, I'll be happy with that position. And that's the swing I'm looking to take advantage of. So yeah, very bearish here on euro yen. The way I see it, that price got a lot of downside to maneuver from. And the way I see it as well is that my stop loss is in a very nice place, because if price is going to take my stop loss, then we probably are just going to push back to the high here anyway. And we are probably not going to form a lower high. So my stop loss is in a position where if it is hit, it's either a crazy fake out or I was just completely wrong about that lower high forming. And that gives me the best chance to capitalize on that swing if the lower high does indeed form. But yeah, looking for a push back into support. Judging the yen basket as well. I was keeping a close eye with this one before entering that trade, because I want the yen basket to be on my side. And we had a really strong rejection there in the yen basket as well, and a really strong close in the 4 hour chart, which I like the momentum of. A really strong close, kind of equivalent to what we had on euro yen as well. And this level was awkward. I wanted to see if price can break through this. I was anticipating price too, and now we have kind of cleared it as well. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from a yen basket perspective. Again, hopping to the weekly chart as well. Looks like potential leaving a big wick there to the downside there too. I'm expecting us to push back into resistance in not too long. So hopefully I can capitalize on this move here, just on euro yen as well. And of course, a lot of the yen pairs had aggressive reactions. I was expecting us, in fairness, to drop a little bit deeper than what we've seen here. So I was keeping a close eye just to see how price would react, because I was looking for yen basket to head back to 6,500. I was looking at this fib here. I know we did tag the 50. I was kind of looking for us more around the 0.618, maybe even 0.786. I was looking for a lot more downside for the yen basket, but I can see price reacting very well. And because euro yen was already at a really healthy area to short from, I decided to hop into that position, and we'll see how that trade gets going. But yeah, I've been very bearish for the yen pairs for a while. I've been talking about some big swings for the yen pairs for a while, so hopefully I can take advantage of that with euro yen. I'm expecting this support to break long term. I do think euro yen can head back to the 150 areas, which is a big psychological level for euro yen. So I might hold some positions back to 150 as well, because the way I see it, this is a big head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder. And I'm expecting that neckline to eventually break. But we'll see. We've got a long way to go. Not expecting this to be done overnight. But yeah, we'll see how the trade does play out. Again, if you're looking at more lower time frames, because I understand that a lot of you probably won't be looking to enter with a 265 pip stop loss like me. So I do think some re-entries or entries around this area look good, because of course we've just gone and cleared this type of ascending channel here. So if we can come back and retest this area, I think that could be a nice place for more of an intraday trade, something like this. And that way you can refine your risk, something like that as well, and then still capitalize on potentially a big swing as well. Maybe don't want to have as big targets, but even a pushback into that low could still be a decent trade. So something like that from an intraday perspective looks good as well. But yeah, that's kind of my take on EUREM. What's up, eStream? Yes, we'll take a look at gold for you. CJ, what's up? Pound CAD, okay. I see bullishness, but we are high. I agree. It's always a bit difficult to take long setups when the market's already made such a big move. So I will go through that. Henry, what's up? Looking to go long with silver. I am as well. 32.8, 32.6. I'm looking around 32.5, but I will go through that for you. If I have missed out a pair, let me know. I feel like I have. I'll take a look at gold next, and I'll go through pound CAD and silver. So gold, gold, I'm still very bullish on gold, but it might be time for a bit of retracement. I suppose the USD strength is affecting gold a little bit, which is a bit uncharacteristic, funny enough. Normally gold and the DXY are inversely correlated, but it's been a while since they've actually been inversely correlated. They're kind of just been doing the same thing, really. So it's kind of weird to see that the correlation is back on track. But anyway, yeah, gold's looking really bearish at the moment. I wonder, is this a bit of a fake out? Because the way gold is selling off right now, it's actually showing a lot of aggressive behavior. And I wonder, are we putting a bit of a top there for gold? We've pushed into 30.50, which was the next psychological level past 3K. So if I mark that on, we've got 3,100 above us here somewhere as well. So I wonder if gold is now running out a bit of steam. Nice break to the upside, but we're crashing back inside there. I know this candle still has about 2 hours before it does close, but if it can look similar to how it does look now, the way I see it is that price is consolidated, broke to the upside, faked, so likely to do something like this and push back down. Now, I am still bullish, so as we come back to this area, there could probably be a nice reaction to take advantage of. But if you are looking for some shorts, I do think some shorts are coming back into play here for gold. Like I said, I'll wait for the candle to close first just to really see if momentum does stick, because sometimes gold will have one of these kind of sells, and then by the time the candle does close, it's already pulled back up and it potentially closes bullish. So that completely invalidates that pattern there. So if the candle can close bearish or even break below as well, that'd be a strong sign. If the candle can close below the support there, that'll be a strong sign that bearish pressure has really crept in, because we faked up, now we've broken down. So the next expectation would be a pullback and another drop there. So gold shorts actually look pretty good. Like I said, I'll wait for these candles to close, but momentum coming back down is just equally as strong as we did when we pushed up. So yeah, 3K for gold looks likely. I would wait for candles closed before I really kind of confirm that bias, but that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And of course, looking at silver, which we'll take a look at second, silver's looking very bearish at the moment too. In terms of pound CAD, yes, I can definitely see the long setup you're eyeing up there. Looks like price has had a bit of a correction, and now we're potentially forming the next higher low. I like the candle here, very strong candle close. I like the wicks to the downside. And the way I see it is that we're kind of steadily pushing to the upside now. Come back, retested that area. Nice wicks there on the 4-hour chart. Looks like momentum slowly picking up. So I think it's a nice long opportunity. The only scary thing about about pound CAD longs is because we're already kind of overbought. We've already had a big move to the upside, and the market is probably in need of a bit of a correction. But we could still make a move back into resistance first before we have that correction. If you're looking to capitalize on a move like that, I think that's pretty sensible. Even a push back to the high here doesn't even have to be that high. Even a push back to that high there around 1.868, probably find a nice entry. Maybe a 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 2, maybe risk reward if you're lucky. But yeah, I think that's still a nice trade to take for pound CAD, because you're taking into consideration the market is already quite overbought. We've already had a big move, so you're not necessarily looking for anything too crazy for pound CAD. Something like this is pretty realistic. And then potentially we might have that sell off because, of course, we're expecting retracement at some point. But right now, we've kind of broken out that descending wedge or channel. And the way we are moving looks like we are kind of steadily creating bullish structure. So I do think pound CAD is likely to break to the upside. And the way I see it, we can have another push, at least back to 1.87. We might make 1.875 as well. But yeah, I do agree it is a little bit high. So I do expect retracement at some point. There's a big level down here, which I'm looking for price to come back and retest. But it doesn't look like that retest is happening just yet. So we'll have to be a bit patient. I'll take a look at silver next. What's up, Lighton? Hope you're well. Better late than never. What's up? Yeah, a lot of things are cooking actually. Market is moving a lot, to be honest. Yen pairs are moving. USD pairs are moving. Gold, silver moving as well. Crosses are moving as well. So I feel like we're seeing a lot of momentum. Of course, we had the Fed interest rate yesterday. Didn't see too much of a reaction off that. But I don't know, maybe we're kind of delayed by a few hours because now we're starting to see a lot of movement. So yeah, let me go through silver. So silver I actually really like the buys on. It looks like we're seeing some downside now for silver. That is a really bearish candle there. And it looks like the longs are setting up quite well. So my expectation for silver is still a push back to the high here at 34.82. And we've cracked through a really big level of resistance. So really, I want to see price come back and retest that resistance now as support, of course, see the next high low, and hopefully swing it back to where we came from. So I'm roughly looking around 32.5, perhaps 32.6 maybe for some entries. I like this brief down move there as well. So that would be a nice place for a retest there. You said you're looking around 32.8 to 32.6. So, I mean, it's more or less where I'm looking at as well. I suppose you're probably looking at maybe the retest of the high there as well, maybe. But yeah, around this kind of area here is where I'm looking at 32.7, I'll probably say at least to around 32.2, anywhere in there. I think we can turn around. Oh my God. My voice just buckled under the pressure there. Don't know what happened. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking for price to get to as well. But yeah, that candle's looking really bearish. So there might be actually some short-term sell opportunities if you can come back and retest that. I'm not really interested with the sells, to be honest, with silver. Because I think the bigger move is to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm going to be focused on. But same with gold, same thing with silver. It does look like price will see some downside there. For both of them, of course, they are very, very similar. But with that momentum there, I think we'll at least push back to 32.7, which is this high. And then we can see what we can do. If price action looks good, we see some wicks, bullish engulfing candles, then yeah, I'm expecting a push back to 34.8. How's the weekly candle looking? Okay, I like it because we already got the strong close last week. If we were having a big wick now, that would make things a bit awkward. Yeah, because of course it's still Thursday. By Friday, we could actually be trading underneath that level, which would be awkward. But we had a really strong close last week, so a push back down into support, I would expect us to hold. So yeah, silver looks really, really good, and expecting a push back to the high there eventually. Let me have a quick look at dollar CHF whilst I'm on the USD topic. So last time we looked at dollar CHF, where were we? I think we were down here somewhere. So it looks like price had another move back into support, respected it pretty well, and had a pretty strong reaction to the upside. I think CHF might be a bit strong as well, because dollar CHF hasn't really seen too much upside despite DXY really pushing. Actually, no, it's about right. I think CHF is a bit strong as well. We'll have a look at some of the CHF pairs. But yeah, dollar CHF, again, another market which overall I'm pretty bearish on as well. Pretty much any USD pair I'm bearish on. I'm looking to sell. I'm looking to sell the dollar against the currency. But first, of course, I need to see a bit of a pullback there for dollar CHF. At the moment, we might be seeing that happen. I did like that area last week. I'm not too sure if that if we're going to get a pullback to there just yet, but I do think some upside is likely now for dollar CHF. Really strong rejection. I do think upside is looking pretty good there. But yeah, for the USD pairs, just expecting the pullback. Really, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I don't think we'll set up until next week at least. We might push to the upside until 104.5, but in terms of a solid trade, I don't think that will set up until next week. So for now, being patient. But yeah, hopefully we can see a bit of a push, and then expecting price to absolutely turn around. If I finish off some of the indices, so we had a look at US 30 earlier. That looked pretty bearish today, and looks like NAS is doing the same thing as well. So I did say some sells for the indices look good if we can retrace. Haven't seen much of a retracement, to be honest. We've seen a bit of upside, but I'm still looking for a little bit more. But I suppose with the USD strength today, we might kind of have another sell back into the lows. Again, I'd wait for a bigger pullback before shorting the indices. But things are still looking pretty bearish. Again, we've snapped the 200. We've snapped some key levels of support. We've broken through structure. So overall, I do think indices are still likely to head back down. But yeah, not looking too great for them. Anyway, I'll go through the rest of the yen pairs because I think the yen pairs are looking very interesting right now. Possibly they could be putting in some highs to really sell off. Like I said, I hopped into Euro Yen, and we'll see how that one goes. It gave me the best setup, so that's why I'm in this position. But of course, all the yen pairs are pretty much alike. To be honest, when I am trading the yen pairs, I'm focusing on the yen currency, not so much the currency I'm trading with, partnered with the yen pair. But as you can see, strong rejection of the high there. If we can hold the high, hold that level, sorry, then I do expect us to make a push all the way down to 155. Dollar yen hasn't actually seen much of a move, to be honest. I think that's because of USD. This one did have a bit of a reaction yesterday. Nice sell off there. But again, this one hasn't had enough of a pullback for me to be interested in shorting it. It was a decent pullback, yes, but the overall market is still quite fatigued. So I'm looking for us to push a little bit higher before I do actually look for any shorts. I have pointed out this level here on the daily chart / weekly chart. As for area we could come back and retest, I also want to see us potentially even tap into the 50 as well for the fib, because again, we've already broken through some structure in the left. So I'm not really interested about shorting USD JPY at these prices, especially for the swing trade I'm looking for. We could still see a push very much back into the low there, but will we break the low? Will we have enough energy to break through? I suppose it depends on USD. But if we can have a bit of a relief, then I know that price could potentially gather enough momentum to actually break through and see that bigger move. So I'm actually still kind of waiting to see if USD can retrace a bit further. We'll see what happens, because if the yen's going to be strong now, then it's probably just going to keep falling. But I am still bearish on this one. I still like the shorts around 151, 152, maybe even 153. And that's kind of still what I'm banking on. But yeah, expectations, a big swing back into 141, 140 in the next few days. Taking a look at Aussie yen and New Zealand yen. Now, these have had some really strong reactions. Of course, with Aussie and NZD being very, very weak, it's kind of given us some pretty big moves. Now, I've been expecting these guys to have much bigger pullbacks. Aussie yen in particular, I was expecting us to have a bigger pullback, but looks like we've kind of just put another one of these highs in, and potentially we're on our way. And potentially we're on our way back into support already. So yeah, it's looking very bearish there for Aussie yen. Looks like we're about to push into support. Again, my expectation is still a push into the wick low here. So I still do see a lot more downside, even past that point there. In terms of opportunities, it looks like that boat is kind of sold really. Ideally, you kind of want to be shorting the high. But now that we've kind of had that big sell, I suppose maybe on the lower time frames, might be some shorts we could look at. But I wouldn't be looking for any entries above the hourly chart, probably even above the 30 anyway. But yeah, the way I see it, it looks like that high has formed. I was looking for us to come a lot deeper, but Looks like we didn't need to. I was like hoping for 0.5, 0.618 areas before shorting. It looks like we're kind of just seeing momentum already kick in. Matt, currently short Aussie yen, Swiss yen, nice. Yeah, it does look like the yen pairs are really stepping into action now. Aussie yen, I do like the shorts for this one as well as a whole. Again, looking at this one on the weekly chart as well, I do think eventually we'll push back into the lows, even the monthly chart. I actually do like the shorts for this one. Nice solid close last month. Nice kind of shooting star pattern potentially. Now we're selling off. We've seen that momentum kind of come into March. So yeah, the way I see it, Aussie yen does look like a nice sell. I was just waiting to see if we could push a little bit higher, but looks like we're already bearish enough and already starting to push. So yeah, I mean, where are your targets for Aussie yen and CHF JPY? Swiss yen, again, this one didn't have much of a pullback. Did have a bit of a reaction there, but I've been looking for a little bit more upside than that for Swiss yen before shorting. That's why I'm trading Euro yen, because it's the only yen pair that actually gave me a very good pullback to short from, where I'm right at the top, where I can get nice stop loss placement and actually have the confidence to really swing the pair. Whereas CHF JPY, I would have targets at the support level, which is still a good swing. Don't get me wrong, still a really nice swing. But I do expect the end pairs to kind of really sell off for the next few months, potentially. Again, I'm not necessarily looking to hold a trade for the next few months, but I do think there'll be a big move to catch. And if I can hold positions to run like I'm doing for the CHF, then that'll be a great bonus to the trade, which hopefully Euro yen will allow me to do that. But CHF JPY, I really liked the spike we had. It was a really sharp turnaround with Swiss yen. Strong move to the upside for the breakout. Topped out there and came straight back down just as aggressive. So looks like with Swiss yen as well, we're probably pushing back to 166 as well. I'm probably going to clear that too. Looks like we were not going to see that deeper correction as I was kind of hoping for. But yeah, already looking pretty bearish right now. Aussie yen 90, okay, and CHF were open target, okay, fair enough. So you're looking for a big swing. Are you going to trail stops then, or what's the plan in terms of managing that trade? Aussie yen targets 90, so more or less back at the wick low there. So yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, the way I see it, the yen pairs are looking very, very bearish. So looking like you're swinging your positions, which I like to see. But yeah, 90 looks pretty good there for Aussie yen. Of course, there is a bit of support around 92, which might be a bit awkward. Could take some partials there if you want to. But if you can clear 92, then I think 90s is looking very, very likely indeed. As long as the yen basket has a strong end to the week, which there's still a lot to go, to be honest, before the week does end. We got today and tomorrow. A lot can happen in that time. But if we can have a strong end to the week, a nice bullish kind of close, I think that could be a strong catalyst going into next week as well. If I take a look at New Zealand yen, so this one again looking pretty bearish as well. I think NZD's been slightly weaker than Aussie past kind of 24 hours, so this has given us a pretty big move as well. Again, I was looking for us to come a little bit deeper before shorting. I was looking at this 0.5, 0.618 area. So I was looking for about another 50, 100 pips to the upside before shorting. But yeah, with the yen strength and the weakness coming to the market, looks like we're already selling off pretty aggressively. So yeah, we'll see what price does. Perhaps there might be some lower time frame corrections to eye up and continue that bearish pressure. But yeah, annoyingly just missing out. I mean, it's not really annoyingly because I'm short to Euro yen. And my goal is just to short one of the yen pairs. I'm not looking to short all of them. So if I'm in Euro yen, yeah, I'll kind of tick that box anyway. But I like New Zealand as well because we came so close to taking out that wick low. So now I expect price to kind of flush and break through. But yeah, a lot of momentum at the moment. Henry, might be possible to look at short for BTC. Okay, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. Matt, I trail as per structure. Okay, similar to Nick style. Okay, makes sense. So you let the price do that heavy lifting, and you kind of just monitor as we go along. I like that style as well, especially in trending markets. Doesn't work too well if the markets are choppy, but if it's trending, which I expect Swiss yen to be trending to the downside pretty soon, it does allow you to take advantage of big moves. Georgie, good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Can I have a quick look at BTC? So you're looking for Bitcoin shorts. So I'm expecting more downside for Bitcoin. Still looking at 72, 73K down there. In terms of the shorts for Bitcoin, it's looking okay. I mean, we are fairly corrective here, so that does tell me that price is likely to sell off at some point. In terms of where I'd like to short it from, it would still be that 90K region there. So we have really solid support, which now we flipped as resistance. So that's kind of where I would like to short from. Not that we can't sell off from here, it's just I don't really have much confidence over here. If we're back at resistance and we're showing signs of rejection, well, that gives me a strong sign, a strong indication that we can turn around. So I would wait for a bit more upside for Bitcoin into 90, 91K. I know that's still pretty far up. That's kind of the only really nice place that I would short from. We've already had a couple nice rejections around that area as well. So if we can continue that, that would be a nice opportunity. So we potentially could sell off earlier. It's just like I said, lacks confidence that would attract me into a position, especially after already a big move to the downside as well. I kind of want the market to see a bit of relief first before we continue. I'm still keeping a close eye on the buys here for Bitcoin as well, around 73K. I like how price is moving. I do think there's a good chance for a bounce. I'm not too sure if we're going to bounce all the way back to the all-time highs. I think that's a separate discussion. We can probably call that a little bit closer to the time. But at least another reaction from that area I think we're likely to see. But yeah, Bitcoin shorts look good. I just would wait for price to push a little bit higher before entertaining that idea. And I'm still expecting to push to 73K. So in terms of the risk to reward, if you can get some entries around 90K, short about 73K, you could be looking at really decent risk to reward there back into the low for BTC. Is Ethereum still below? Yeah, still just trading below. So Ethereum not looking too hot either. So yeah, maybe we do sell from here, but I don't really have the confidence to back up the trade idea, which is a big thing for me. So yeah, I like the shorts, but I would wait for a bit more upside. Tried all sorts of trading methods in the past, from parabolic, SRs, super trend, etc. So my best way also is really tighten up when I see divergence forming. Okay, nice. So kind of got a bit more of a dynamic approach to your trading system now. I like that. But yeah, trading stops are really good in the right conditions. They do perform really well because sometimes the markets will give you big moves, which is difficult to kind of predict. But trading stops will allow you to take advantage of that because you're not capping your risk. But yeah, trading below structure is a good way to do it as well because it fits to the market you're trading. Other methods are kind of a bit more, what's the word? One size fits all. Whereas if you're trading beneath structure, you're kind of adapting to the conditions of the market. Are we seeing frequent pullbacks? Well, then you'd be looking to trade your stop loss quite frequently. The market's having big swings. Well, then you allow yourself to have a lot of room to maneuver and let the market retrace to potentially continue. So yeah, trading stops, especially below structure, is a great way to maneuver that. And I see you're using divergence as well. I think that's a great way to kind of make sure you kind of milk the trade for all it's worth as well, just before it does turn around. But yeah, there's many ways to manage a trade. Again, the key thing is having a way and sticking to that way. That's the key thing because people will come up with different ideas, trade them for a week, and then scrap them. I mean, they might have a good reason too, but again, you need to test and really really see what the advantages and the disadvantages of a particular method is before you really apply it to your trading. And then when you kind of see that, and if you justify it as good enough, then you need to see it through as well. Because equally, trading stops will give you good opportunities which will capitalize big moves. And sometimes, of course, you'll get trailed out a little bit early of a trade and price will still go in your favor, as any method, any strategy is not perfect. It's going to have its downsides as well. But then when that happens, some people kind of run away, unfortunately. But yeah, BTC shorts look good, but I'd wait for around 90K for that to happen. In terms of some of the other CAD pairs, because I'm still looking for some downside on them, but I feel like I'm maybe a week too early before looking for some downside. Henry Dollar Yen also looks right for a short. Yeah, I mean, back into the low, I would say. I mean, I'm looking for a big short back into 140. But I think for dollar yen, if you're looking for targets, let's say 147, I feel like you're in business for that. The market's still pretty consistent with the lower highs, but I wouldn't go past that because the market to me is looking a little bit tired. We're not really seeing much momentum in the bearish legs anymore. We're kind of rounding off quite a lot as well. So the way I see it is that, yes, the trend is still alive in terms of the lower lows and lower highs. The market's still printing, but we are running out of steam, which is something to keep note of. And yes, we had a really nice rejection there, kind of like a nice double top, really nice sell to the downside. So I do think 147 looks good, but I wouldn't probably try and take the trade past that, or at least I would be looking to manage the trade past that point, because there'll be a good chance that price does snap back against you. So yeah, shorts, I like it because of the momentum from yesterday. Of course, USD looks a little bit strong right now, but I think yen might just be a bit stronger. So that might be the overcoming factor there. But yeah, if you're looking for a push to 147, maybe 146.5, which is the low there, I think it makes sense. Any further than that, then you do, of course, run the risk of price creating a new low, snapping back against you, which again is a part of trading. But I'm personally looking at push back to 140, which may happen. We may kind of just break the lows and continue falling. That could be the case. But because we are looking, don't know what happened there. Because we are looking a little bit tired. There we go. I do want to see a bigger pullback, which I don't know, may not happen. If yen's going to be strong, then maybe it's time for the yen pairs to turn around. But that's just me thinking out loud. Japanese index looking good for a short. Okay, let's have a look. See. It's been a while since I looked at the Japanese index. Okay, so looks like we've finally broken out that range. Perhaps we're coming back for a retest there as well. Let me have a look on the weekly chart. Okay. Well, actually, an interesting area here because we've got some support on the left, which price, of course, has fired some wicks into. If we're going to have a big short, we need to crack through that level as well. But we have broken through some daily support above us. Let me just refine that to the low. There we go. We have broken through some daily support above us, which is around this area here. 38, 32.50, which is a nice play for a short, strong break. Perhaps that can give us at least another sell back into 36,700, which of course is where we got that support level at. So you could probably see another reaction into that level. In terms of the yen pairs having the big sell, I feel like we probably need to see a break of that to really get the ball rolling, which of course we'll have to wait and see if that is the case. But yes, price has come back into some nice resistance. We're seeing some really nice rejection as well. So it looks like we're breaking out of this consolidation here as well. If we can keep that up, it might be a nice sell back into support. So yeah, I do like the Japanese index as well, starting to roll over too. Looks like we're holding below the 200 moving average as well, which is a pretty big piece of confluence. Price is trying to use it to continue, but it's failed. So perhaps now we're going to start using it as resistance for potentially a big sell as well. So it does look like the Japanese index is slowly turning too. And if we can see a push back into 36,700, that's probably going to give the yen pairs a nice kick to the upside as well. Kick to the upside, push to the downside as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here with the yen. I'm very, very bullish on the yen currency itself, so bearish on the yen pairs have been for a while, and that stems from the higher time frames. And I do think it's time for us to see some retracement. I forgot to take a look at CAD yen as well. So CAD yen seen some downside too, nothing crazy. I think CAD is a little bit weak in general too, so it hasn't really reacted too well. I'm looking at the higher time frames. Again, I was looking for a bigger reaction here for CAD yen. If I whip out the fib from the high to the low, we still could get these pullbacks as well. Let's not rule them out completely yet. I'm still looking for price to come back into this kind of area for a retest before shorting. That still might be a reality there for CAD yen, because the pullback here is just a bit too shallow for me. And again, just because the pullback is too shallow for me doesn't mean it can't continue the market. It's just in terms of my personal trading, I like the market to have slightly bigger pullbacks, be a bit more stretched before I do jump into any trade. So that's kind of what I'm waiting to see if CAD yen can give us. Still very corrective. Yeah, we still could have a bit of a bounce there to the upside in the pullback. But I'm currently short euro yen, so I'm just going to see how that goes. I'm not really interested with the other yen pairs until I get euro yen to break even. And by that time, we probably would have had a bit of a sell-off anyway. So I'm just going to see how that pair gets going. I'm still holding Aussie CHF shorts, still trading small positions there. Looks like the break and retest of this support level has played out pretty well, at least so far anyway. Price came back for a retest a couple of days back. Nice reaction, strong bearish engulfing candle, and it looks like we've been slowly pushed to the downside since then. So I'm expecting us to at least get back to the lows here, and then I'll start looking to trail my stop loss a little bit further down. Again, my overall expectation is still swing back into the low, and that's the reason why I didn't hold the full position for a push back to the low here, because I know Aussie CHF can take a long time for a move like this to happen, even if it's pro trend as well. It can still take a while, and the negative swaps can pile up for this one. But because I've already taken the bulk of my position, I'm just happy to let the rest of the trade do its thing. If it does come back into my targets, great. If it does hit me for a trail stop loss, I'll still walk away, with those small positions for a small win. So we'll see how that gets going. But yeah, still holding this position. Nothing really for me to do for a while. Just letting the market do the heavy lifting, to be honest. But those are the three positions I'm in. Aussie CHF shorts, Euro JPY shorts, which I just hopped in recently, and dollar CAD shorts, which I may be looking to close if I don't like this 4-hour candle closure. I may close it a little bit early. And call it a day there with dollar CADs, and perhaps look for some re-entries later on. Junior Blanco, Audi thoughts? Or do you mean Aussie dollar thoughts? I suppose you mean Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar. So yeah, Aussie dollar really bearish this morning. Again, USD wise, I'm still expecting a bit of a pullback on the dollar before some more weakness. So I'm looking for some temporary strength for the USD, maybe for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And it's a big range, but it depends how big of a pullback we see. It could be even a bit longer than that. So if USD is going to be strong for that kind of period of time, probably not the best time to be looking to buy Aussie dollar, especially because the price actually doesn't look great either. So potentially you might be seeing a bigger push for Aussie dollar to the downside, maybe even perhaps back into support here. In terms of where I want to long, it's still down here at 0.612. That's still my preferred level for a buy. The way I see it for Aussie dollars, that price has come back into really powerful support. We're respecting it pretty well. So eventually I do think price can turn around. But yeah, we might be approaching support first before we do bounce, especially with the momentum we just saw this morning as well. It's not like price is kind of correctively pushing down, but it was until this morning where it kind of picked up pace as well, especially if you go and break structure here on the left. That to me is an indication for more shorts. So I don't really have a clear-cut setup for Aussie dollar. The way I see it, the market is just very, very messy here. So trying to get involved and take trades here, you're going to lose money. Well, potentially. It's not optimal conditions, especially if you're looking for trend opportunities. If you're a trend trader, this isn't really a trend right now. So now is not the best opportunity to look for any entries. If we can push back to 0.616, 614, I'll look for some entries down there for a reaction. But my plan this week was looking for a break of structure to the upside and then look for a pullback, which unfortunately we didn't get. So right now, I don't really see much of a trade. How do you mentally with situations where you made a plan, you knew where to enter the trade, but for different situations you missed to enter and trade, went in your direction without you? That happens to me far too often this week. Aussie and Kajan wanted to enter from week's top, but didn't because I was at my work. It was the worst feeling, worse than loss of a trade. Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, it's a difficult one because especially you being at work as well, because it's something you can't avoid. You have to go to work, so that's just the reality of it. I suppose the best thing to do is to try and bend your trading to fit your circumstances a little bit better. So if you know you're at work a certain amount of hours per day, try and form a strategy that will allow you to take trades when you're free. So outside of your work hours, that might mean looking at kind of daily candle closures. I'm not too sure where you're based, but it might be looking to take trades, at night, maybe as the US session is dying out. Then I would probably recommend looking at some higher time frame entries, so 4 hour or maybe even daily chart as well, or 8 hour time frame as well. But if you're missing trades, like for example, because of work, because you're at work, then you need to try and bend your trading plan to fit your current circumstance. Because there's no point of you having setups during work, because it's going to mess with your work and then it's going to mess with your trading as well. So it's a lose-lose situation. If you can have trades outside of work, either before you go or after, that's when things become a little bit better to manage. In terms of just missing trades in general, because I'll miss trades as well. Again, if you kind of look at it in terms of in a year, you have many opportunities in the market. You could miss a bunch of them and still have a bunch of opportunities to make the profits you want to make. So if you kind of look at it in terms of a long-term point of view, because if you look at the here and now, I just missed the trade. It was a winner. I could have made some money, but I didn't. Of course, it's a rough position to be in. But if you have the kind of mindset that you look at the market in terms of the whole year, there'll be more than enough opportunities. Okay, if I miss a few, it doesn't really affect my trading that way. As long as you catch the majority of the ones you meant to catch, which again goes back to making sure that you're available to take your trades. But yeah, it's not a great feeling. Just like losing a trade is not a great feeling. It's a situation where you kind of, as you gain more experience, you will become more comfortable with dealing with. But the best way to deal with it is to try and maneuver your trading plan to fit your circumstances. Yeah, that's a good point, Matt, as well. 8 hour candle, 2, 3 times a day to look at the chart, easy to manage. Yeah, I would suggest scaling up to the higher time frames, 4 hour, 8 hour, even daily candle for entry. I know it slows it down, and it might even slow your journey a little bit because it takes longer for your trades to play out. But I think in general it will be beneficial. And then once you've got a bit more time, you can drop back to lower time frames if you want to. But yeah, I think that the 8 hour or the daily is something to look at, because if you're at work, there's not a lot you can do there. Okay, so let me take a look at some of the CAD pairs. So I'm actually interested in shorting potentially EuroCAD or PoundCAD. I'm being very careful in terms of entries. First things first, I want them to push back to highs first before I even consider shorting, because for stop loss reasons and entry reasons too. At the moment, looks like pound CAD potentially is getting ready for a bit of a rally here. We've broken out of this descending channel. We're seeing some high lows here. I like the wicks we're seeing here on the 4-hour chart as well. So I do think pound CAD is likely to push back to 1.875, and Euro CAD not really seeing that momentum yet because euro is a lot weaker than pound right now. But we're seeing a similar kind of very choppy range here, which I'm expecting price to break to the upside from as well. So if I can see something like this for EuroCAD, another strong rejection at the high, perhaps a big double top, that would interest me for a short. It's a very aggressive trade, but the fact is, if I expand to the weekly chart, we're coming back into an area which actually gave us this major lower high. So I know there's a good chance we could retrace. The market's pretty overextended. And if you look at the previous weekly candle, you can see it gave us a big wick to the upside. So there's already some rejection coming into the market. So it does tell me that EuroCAD is probably getting ready for a bit of a sell. But again, being very careful, the price action has to be very good for me to get into a trade, especially when I'm going counter trend. Especially in these kind of circumstances. But I do think there could be a nice short there. Same thing with pound CAD as well. I do think a short's brewing up. But of course, at the moment, probably get a rally. So there could be some nice buys there in the lower time frames. I'm not really interested in the longs because I think the sells where we'll have a bigger move to take advantage of. So that's kind of what I'm more focused on. In terms of New Zealand CAD and Aussie CAD, there's been some reactions on those pairs. I was keeping a tab on them this morning, last night as well. Again, I still have a bearish bias for them, but I'm just not liking the setups. There was a really strong reaction this morning, in fairness to New Zealand CAD, and it would have been a nice entry, but I'm not a big fan of the setup, so I just decided to stay away. Aussie CAD as well. This one had a nice reaction early in the week, but it looks like we're speeding up that progress right now. So again, maybe Aussie CAD could be ready for a sell too. Again, the way I see it is that we've broken out of this ascending channel, and let's make sure we can see that. There we go. So we've broken out this ascending channel. The way I see it is that we're kind of forming another ascending channel right here, and I'm kind of expecting us to eventually kind of get that momentum going and that continuation. My expectation is a push back to support down there. So I like the shorts, but I don't like the setup. Just a little bit too corrective, and that's kind of how Aussie CAD does move. It is a very corrective pair, but sometimes gives some nice clean setups. So that's kind of what I've been waiting for. Not the biggest fan, but hey, it looks like we are respecting high pretty well. New Zealand CAD were doing that too. But I feel like this is very dependent on NZD and Aussie being very weak, which at the moment they are. What's up, Alex? Welcome to stream. Hope you're well. Little charting on USD-ZAR. Okay, we'll have a look see for you. So yeah, USD-ZAR, haven't looked at that one since yesterday. Let's see what is happening. Okay, so we got a bit of a sell-off yesterday, and looks like price is fine. It's getting very corrective now, isn't it, USD-ZAR? It's getting very corrective. We still do have a big level above us here, so that's kind of where my focus would be. Would be at the way we kind of spike through the low. I like the reaction we've had off that. But yeah, I'll look to see what we can do at the resistance here. 18.3. Sorry, that could be a nice place for a short back into the low, perhaps even some new lows as well. Because the market so far is still pretty consistent for all these lower highs. 1, 2, 3, 4, just about. Perhaps we could see number 5, and that could give us another sell. So I do like USD-ZAR to the downside from 18.3. Really strong support. Should be flipped to resistance right now. I wouldn't be so optimistic with targets. I'll keep it relatively simple. Back into lows here. 18.05 makes a lot of sense. I do think there potentially could be a big sell, but because we're still very corrective, we're not seeing much momentum. We potentially could be having a really large correction to break to the upside as well. So not forgetting about that upside potential. So if you do get into shorts, the idea is not to stay in the trade too long, that the market eventually turns against you. The push into support is a great place to take some profits at. So yeah, I do like the shorts here for USDZAR 18.3. I'll wait to see if we can get there and see if we have move to the downside. I think because the DXY is a little bit strong right now, that could probably help USDZAR push up. Okay, we've had the 4-hour candle close. So yeah, that's a really nice candle closure, I must say, on the dollar. Again, kind of getting that rounded bottom formation. Now it looks like a form a bit of a double bottom. Looks like momentum's kicking back in. I mean, overall, it's still kind of ranging. But what I can say from this is that support is holding pretty well. We could even have another sell-off again, but I think it'll be a good chance that we come right back up. So it looks like a bit of a bottom is forming here for the dollar. And if a bit of a bottom is forming, that should take us back into 104.5, maybe back into 105.5 if we're lucky, if we see a really bullish dollar. But I'm still very bearish, so I'm just looking at this as an opportunity to wait for some pullbacks, which hopefully could present maybe next week, this time next week. And then we can take some shorts there, and I'm expecting to hold them for probably a good month or so. So could be some really nice trades coming up. But yeah, solid close there on the 4-hour chart. How did Euro USD close? Actually, Euro USD hasn't closed. What am I on about? Euro USD still got a while. DXY closed a different time. But yeah, Euro's already broken through the candle there. So I'm going to keep an eye on USD CAD. I may be closing this trade a bit early now because, yeah, if we're going to break resistance, we're probably going to have another pullback anyway. So I'll probably just wait for a re-entry at 1.5. Hopefully I'll be able to kind of maximize my stop loss and my entry a little bit better. So something like this. Hopefully a better entry this time instead of going from a 1 to 2, maybe a 1 to 3, and just looking for a re-entry. But we'll see what happens. I'm still very bearish on dollar CAD. I'm expecting a big sell-off for this one, but we might be pushing back into resistance first. So have to wait and see. We've got these previous highs here. 1, 2, might form another third one. Nice little spike into the high, and then we sell. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD. Just keeping a close eye on things. No need to try and force anything with the dollar right now, unless you're looking for some buys for the dollar, which I think is actually a decent opportunity, especially for pound USD sells. I think pound USD has still got some room to push into. If you look to the left, come into some strong supply, and you can see we've been moving very correctively as well. I feel like if we can break the channel low, that would be a strong indication that pound USD is likely to sell, and we'll probably see some nice downside for a few days. Now, I'm still very bullish on pound. The way I see it on the higher time frames is that we're likely to push back to the high there. I've been looking at a lot of the higher time frames recently, monthly chart, quarterly chart for these higher time frames, and I do think we'll get ready to reverse. Essentially, for pound USD, we've come back to test some really big support. This is a monthly chart, by the way, and you can see we had another bounce at the support level. And I think in the long run, we could actually be seeing pound USD push back into resistance up here around the infamous 1.4. So that's why I do think 1.34 is a pretty reasonable target to have. I don't think it's anything special. 1.4 is definitely a real possibility. If we're going to hold this level here, 1.2, I think 1.4 is the next big push. So yeah, the way I see it, we're likely to keep pushing there for pounds, and a lot of the other USD pairs are setting up like this as well. But of course, first things first, we'd probably do a bit of a pullback here. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. And we've also just hit 1.3 as well, which is a big psychological level. A really big level there. So potentially could see some profit taken now. Alex US30 NAS. Okay, we'll have a look. See. No problem, Lighton. Choppiness is the choppiness of USDZAR too corrective. Yeah, I agree. If a market is just too corrective or too choppy, no need to try and force anything. You learn that lesson the hard way. Trading is all about spotting good opportunities and trading good opportunities, not kind of good opportunities plus some okay opportunities. You want to always be taking a good trade. The more you do that, the better you will be for it. US 30 and NAS. Okay, so yeah, US 30. Oh, US 300. That's not what we want. There we go. So yeah, US 30. Keeping an eye on this one because I'm still pretty bearish. My expectation is still a pullback off this move after, of course, the big double top we had and the break of structure. I'm looking for price to retrace and continue. I've been looking for a deeper retracement. I'm not really so focused on the break and retest here because, as I said, the pullback's not the breakout. The pullback's not big enough. I want to see price of a much bigger breakout than that before I would consider a retest of that zone. So I'm kind of looking at the ranges up here, 43,500 or even around here, 42, 42,750 looks pretty good. So I still want to see a bit more upside for US 30. Looks like we're just about kind of trading at support right now, but it's looking a little bit awkward. Looking at the lower time frames, especially with the USD strength that just came in, we might even have a sell. We might even have a bit of a sell-off back into the low. I'm not really interested in that. Like I said, it hasn't pulled back enough for me to be looking for some shorts. I'm still looking to see what we can do around these areas for potentially a move back down. But yeah, I'm still pretty bearish with US 30. NAS, same thing as well. Still pretty bearish with NAS. Looking for some shorts on the retest of that daily low there. We've got the 200, which looks like it's coming into play as well. So I feel like that would be a really nice area of confluence, testing the 200 and the price support term resistance. So it would be nice to get there, but I'm looking at NAS right now. It's looking like we're really struggling to push the upside. So I wonder if we'll have a bit of a mini sell-off potentially there for the NAS. It's kind of looking like it's really fading at the highs there. So we might be pushing back into support there, 19,100. I suppose if you're on the lower time frames, that could be something you're looking for. But I'll keep it short and sweet because I do think NAS and the other indices are in need of a pullback before we do get that big swing. I feel like even if we do push the downside, it might just be to sweep the lows. We'll probably find support again pretty quickly and then start pulling back. So there might be some short-term sales there for NAS, US 30, maybe even S&P as well. But I am still banking on a much bigger retracement before we do get that much bigger sell. Same for S&P, starting to struggle at the highs there a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have another push back into support before we do get that retracement. But even S&P as well, we've got the 200 there starting to come into confluence with that support level there. So this looks like a really nice retest around 5,800. If we can get there, I do think that's a really nice place for a short, and we can potentially really sell off. So yeah, indices overall still pretty bearish, but I do think some pullbacks are needed. Some pullbacks are definitely needed first. In terms of the crosses, because we've seen a lot of movement there, Aussie and NZD having some fun right now, of course. We had a look at pound NZD briefly, and this one's looking pretty bullish. Wow, we've already pushed into that zone. I think we were just trading around here-ish last time we had a look at this, and that was just half an hour ago, or 45 minutes ago. And price has already pushed them very aggressively. If you take a look at pound Aussie, yeah, that's pushing back. Okay, so pound Aussie is interesting now. Pound Aussie is interesting. I say that because we are still forming this corrective behavior, and now price is, of course, pushing right back to the high. So if we start to stall again, we might be in for another correction to the downside. So it's a more of an aggressive position, but judging what we're doing, I do think some sales could be looking good. You might go and take out that wick high first before we have a really big sell. But yeah, I do like pound Aussie to the downside. The market's still a bit stretched. I feel like if we can push back to 2.09, take out that high, we could be in for a really big sell as price corrects itself. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Still, of course, looking very bullish at the moment. Euro Aussie and Euro NZD, I would imagine doing something similar. Not as strong because, of course, I'm pretty sure Euro is still pretty weak. Yeah, but if you can clear that resistance there, that'll probably be a nice indication of the lower time frames breaking out. And that could take us back to the high at 1.74. If I have a look at Euro NZD, yeah, Euro NZD nice double bottom this morning. And we're looking pretty bullish off the back of that as well. So yeah, the way I see it, the crosses still due a big pullback at some point, but they might be still not finished with their upside. No problem, Alex. Okay, definitely going to pull back. Yeah, I think that pullback is necessary. Well, again, not necessary, but there's a lot of confidence in those areas, especially with the 200, especially with the break and retest of that daily level there. I feel like that's a really nice place for a short. Like I said, the market is looking bearish at the moment, so we might see another push to the downside maybe the next couple of days. I still think there's a bigger retracement on the cards. Darktron took along a NAS on the 5-minute. Okay. Direction of 19,550. Got a 10% account profit. Okay, nice. And closed it. Could have hold for 10 more minutes and would have been 20% gain. Wow. But profit's profit. Of course, profit is profit, especially at 10%. But yeah, it looks like you've moved on to or added some of the indices to your watch list now. I like to see that. Let's see what NAS has done. Of course, look at that move. I'm guessing this is the short you were in. But yeah, really big short there. Really big short on the 5-minute chart. Back to the high. Lovely sell. Yeah, I feel like looking at this one on the 5-minute, you kind of want to be looking at right at the extremes, because that's where the juice is. And I'm looking at the 5-minute chart, and the sells look pretty clean as well. You know, we tend to have a lot of fun with these shorts. You know, the market will consolidate, boom, boom. If you catch the right short, you should be loving life. But of course, now in a bit of a bearish market, the shorts look pretty good. In a bullish market, when we're over here, they won't look as good, of course. They'll be a bit more slow, a bit more corrective. But yeah, really nice short there. I suppose if we're going to continue again, there might be another kind of correction back up again, and there might be another short, perhaps tomorrow or maybe Monday, something like that. Because I think we just respected the high there, did we? Yeah, just about. So we might step into that area again before selling. But yeah, really nice momentum there. I have to say that is nice, especially because it plays out pretty quickly, so you don't have to stay in the trade for too long. But yeah, nice sell on the low time frames. Perhaps we might see a bit of a reaction now. But again, that's the benefit of low time frames versus higher time frames. You can probably catch just as big moves in a very short space of time. Of course, there's pros and cons to either side of the coin. It's just whichever style you prefer, and based on your circumstances as well. Other people got different commitments to maneuver with, so you got to watch out for that. But yeah, really nice move there on the lower time frames. In terms of the CHF pairs, so the CHF pairs are looking pretty interesting. I said CHF might be a little bit weak at the moment, I think a little bit. Pound CHF is always an awkward one. What is this boy doing? Looks like it's having a break and retest here, but I just would not take that at all. Way too corrective, way too choppy. Look at the wicks everywhere, kind of random moves. Not something clean at all. Not something clean at all. So pound CHF is a no-go. I mean, in fairness, it looks like a nice break and retest, and it very well could give us another push back to the high. But based on how it's moving, I would stay away. Euro CHF. This one looks like it's potentially forming a bit of a top to roll over. It might be looking for some downside, but again, looking at the higher time frames, the way we respected support here, kind of waiting to see if there's more upside to be had. Potentially push to 0.97, but yeah, I feel like a correction is needed. I did mark out this area as a nice place for a buy, but we're very, very far away from that. So I'll keep an eye on that, but that's probably not going to be a trade for a while. In terms of NZD CHF, what are we doing over here? Okay, looking pretty bearish. I think that's more to do with NZD being very weak, to be honest. So I don't want to read into that too much. But yeah, it looks like price is just continuing up these lower highs. 1, 2, 3, 3 over there. Looks like potentially a fourth. Yeah, this is the all-time low of the market. So breaking past that would be a pretty big deal. But at this rate, it looks like that's where we're slowly headed towards. Hopefully, Aussie CHF can join the party as well and continue. Still looking pretty bearish there. I think the Aussie weakness is helping me out there. So hopefully that can continue. May that continue. And we can push back to the lows there. Still a long way to go, to be honest. But again, as long as the trend, which is what I'm banking on, the overall trend continue, which I'm not really seeing any signs of reversal just yet, then I do think we're likely to get there eventually. So we'll just hold on to that. And then, of course, you got your lovely CAD CHF, which is just spiked all-time lows, I'm pretty sure. Yes, we did. We just created some new all-time lows there as well. So, yeah, CAD CHF, it's a bit of an awkward one. We might stab lower first before having a bit of a push. I'm not a big fan of that pair. Then, of course, you got your lovely dollar CHF as well, which at the moment respecting support pretty well. I do think there might be some upside here, especially looking at the DXY there too. But yeah, looking at dollar CHF, I'm still long-term bearish on this one. Looking to see if we come back into support, but I do want to see a bit of a correction first. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the CHF pairs and in general. CHF pairs are always a bit of an awkward one. Sometimes they give some nice positions, other times they're just really corrective and not looking great at all. Matt, pound CHF is an awful pair. Zoom out to the weekly, been ranging since 2022. Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong at all. It is not a great pair. The thing is with markets, they have their moments, but yeah, you're completely correct. It's been very sideways, and that's the point I was about to make. The markets they have their days where they're pretty good, actually seeing some nice momentum, and they have the days where things are really corrective. In general, pound CHF is a pretty corrective pair. Of course, sometimes it will have some clean moves, as we can see, some nice swings there as well. And of course, other times it will be very choppy, very choppy, very choppy in there. And of course, I don't know what that was. I think that was that the CHF kind of, yeah, I think that was when the CHF had their drama there, big drops to the downside. But in general, it is a very corrective pair. The only reason why I keep a look at CHF pairs is because sometimes they do look good, sometimes they do provide some nice opportunities. Like my trade in Aussie CHF, but Aussie CHF is another choppy pair a lot of the time as well. So a big thing when you're looking to trade CHF pairs is pick your moments. Either don't trade it or be prepared to wait about a bit for a good trade to come, which is why you should be focusing on other pairs. And every once in a while, pound CHF might give you a good trade. But the emphasis is every once in a while. I wouldn't look to actively trade this one unless I really focused on it and probably developed a strategy that fits its movements. Other than that, pick the moments. But yeah, you're definitely correct there. Very, very range bound. Henry, big rejection of silver. It might just pick it up from here. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, Casif, I will take a look at NAS for you. But silver is a pair on my watch list, so I have to keep an eye on this one. We have pulled back there. We could push the upside from there. It hasn't been as big of a correction as I've wanted. This is really where I've got my confidence down here, so that's where I'm wanting to pick it up from. But you are right, price has tested the high and is pulling back quite a bit from there. Well, on the lower time frames, might be quite a bit. On the hourlies, not much. But yeah, we have reacted there. We have reacted. The 4-hour candle is about to close as well in about an hour and 18 minutes. So I'll see how that closes. We could rise to the upside from there. But the way I see it, I want to have a bit of a correction. I'm not really looking for shallow pullbacks. This is kind of where my confidence lies, 0.5, 0.618. Got the trend line in that area, the big level in the daily chart in that area there as well. So that's really where I would want to try and pick up dollar CHF. Not dollar CHF. I keep saying dollar CHF. Pick up silver from. But yeah, you are right. It's a nice rejection from that high. It potentially could push us to the upside. But again, you need to be able to different. I was going to say that word again, but I'm not. Separate fear of missing out and a good trade, because sometimes you will map out an area where you want to buy from. Like for example, where I want to buy from around 32.6. Potentially, I could jump into a trade here just in case if I miss the move, but then I could take an unnecessary loss as well. So the important thing is it a good trade, or are you just scared that price might move without you? If it is a good trade, then of course jump into it, take the position. If it fits your plan well, then take the trade, of course. But if you review your plan, it's not quite fitting your plan, then it might be your fear of missing out, coming into the market a little bit. But it is a nice level of support. It could flip bullish from there. Like I said, I've got a lot of confidence just a little bit below, so that's kind of what I'll be banking on. But maybe price doesn't want to hit my level. Maybe it does want to reverse from there. We'll have to wait and see. How's gold looking? Because if silver is retracing, that means gold's probably pulling back too. Yeah, gold's pulling back a little bit. Oh, okay. So the Audi candle did close for a big wick there. Yeah, I want to see how that develops on the 4-hour chart, because that is a pretty big wick, and that could flip us bullish potentially. But if the 4-hour candle can close strong in the next hour and 15 minutes, then perhaps we might see a bit of a sell. I still like the area down here for a buy around 3K, but we have to see if we can get there first. I think we do have some GBP news actually today. Bank of England interest rates is at 12. Yep, it's at 12, 15 minutes, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Is anyone trading any pound pairs at the moment? We'll take a look at NAS next. Matt in silver since 5th of March. Okay, nice. Hoping to scale in soon. I missed copper though. Didn't pull the trigger, and of course that one rocketed. Yeah, of course. When it sees you not pulling the trigger, that's its buy signal to absolutely fly. But yeah, you don't want to catch them all. Yeah, look, if you caught a nice trade in silver, then pat yourself on the back. Of course, it would be nice to catch copper as well, but there's always the next opportunity around the corner. Yeah, I'm curious as well, Darkshon. I'm curious as well with GBP, because pound is, I don't know, is pound a little bit stronger, or is it just euros weak? I think pound might be a bit strong, because I'm looking at the pound pairs. Yeah, pound CAD trying to push up there. Pound CHF trying to push up there as well. So I think pound is a little bit strong. The fact that pound USD hasn't sold off much either. Yeah, I think pound might be a little bit strong. But of course, yen is just a bit stronger, which is why pound yen is seeing a lot of downside, although we're pulling back quite a lot there as well. So looks like we're seeing some pound strength really coming to the market. So yeah, I do wonder what price is going to do. Is it going to flip to the upside from that area and respect it as support, or continue selling off? Yeah, we'll wait and see. I'm not trading any pound pairs at the moment, so I'm not too invested, although I'm pretty bearish on pound yen in general. If a good short opportunity does present itself, it's going to take a lot of willpower for me to not trade it because, of course, I'm already in euro yen, so I shouldn't be looking to trade it. But I do like pound yen to the downside. Okay, let me take a look at NAS before I completely forget. But yeah, NAS in general, I'm just looking for a bigger pullback to short it. If we go to the daily chart, this is where my confidence lies. Really nice support level at 2600. We've broken through the 200 moving average there as well. So there is a bit of confidence just above us. And I'm basically looking for the retracement of this move back into that area for another sell-off. I'm looking for a bit of a counter trend for the NAS in the next coming days. At the moment, we are a little bit flat. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have one more sell-off back into support before retracing. But in terms of the shorts, swing shorts, I would say 2600 looks like where it's at. So yeah, kind of waiting for a bit of a pullback, find some highs. Let's see if the rejection is good. Hopefully that could be a nice short to take it back down again. How pound is the pound Aussie in your watch list? Okay, a lot of momentum at the moment, so it could be tough to catch with a decent return on investment for me at the moment. Are you looking to what are you looking to do then, Matt? Are you looking to buy them? Was hoping for a deeper pullback. Okay. Okay, yeah. I mean, I was expecting a deeper pullback as well for both of them. But I think just Aussie and NZD just turn it on and now they're flying. Afonso, GBP, don't forget Bank of England. Yeah, at 12, yeah. Yeah, I will kind of keep an eye as we approach 12. We'll see how the GBP does react. I mean, rates are expected to stay the same. And if they do come out the same, I don't think we'll see too much movement, to be honest. If they come out different, of course, we'll see something, but I'm not too sure if we'll see much. But we'll wait and see. DK US 30 is US 100 like US 30. Yeah, they're similar markets. Um, looking at the US stock market in general, of course, US 30 focuses on particular companies, but in general, their performance is pretty alike. The UN indices are kind of up together or down together most of the time. So in general, yeah, they are alike. In terms of what I'm looking for in terms of price action, I'm looking for something similar as well, although I'm looking for a slightly deeper correction for NAS. Not NAS, sorry, US 30, because NAS I'm looking for a nice break and retest, whereas US 30, I'm looking for a price to come back and retest this range here, 43,250, 43,500 before shorting. Because the break and retest is too shallow. The breakout's not big enough for me to consider a retest. It needs to be much bigger than that. So the way I see it, we might probably come back inside to form a lower high and then continue. But yeah, US 30 I'm pretty bearish on. NAS I'm pretty bearish on as well. I prefer NAS, it's a lot cleaner than US 30. Same with S&P as well. I think that zone looks really good for a short. So I'll wait for price to get to those areas and hopefully short it back down again. Okay, but yeah, pound Aussie didn't even reach 38.2% before shooting off there, too near to the top for me. Yeah, I agree. I don't really like catching when they're too high up. Again, with my fib settings, I'm only looking for 0.5 and above or below, depends which way I'm trading. But for example, if we're looking at a swing to the downside, so like price has made a move, push, then I'm looking at price at least swinging back to the 50 before I want to intervene, because 50 is like equilibrium. If price gets to equilibrium past that, then the market's technically stretched a little bit. So that's kind of where I want to see price push into. But yeah, sometimes you get shadow pullbacks. Sometimes you'll see price have really deep pullbacks. I'm normally focused on 15 below, that's kind of where I will have most of my opportunities. Of course, it means that sometimes I do miss some of the shallow pullbacks, of course, and I'm trying to work on methods to capitalize on those as well. But yeah, typically, especially when you're trading a lot of FX kind of reverts on itself a lot. So yeah, I like the bigger pullbacks. Okay, tight flag with engulfing candle. Okay, nice. I know what you mean. Yeah, sometimes when it's the right condition for it, it makes sense. Again, trading is all about reaction as well. Because some short pullbacks look okay, some look horrendous, some look really good, and it depends on the setup, depends on the reaction, depends on the candlesticks as well. So be able to kind of pivot is a huge part of trading, and can really help your trading. And taking different opportunities. But yeah, I like the slightly bigger corrections. For example, like my dollar CAD trade, um, I was looking for a pullback all the way back into 1.45, and I know that potentially we could have sold off from here. We had this kind of range here. We could have retested this and continued, but we didn't. Again, another universe price might have respected the high and then dropped down, and it just would have been a trade I would took. But sometimes, if the entry was good enough, I would take the trade. Another example, Euro USD. I'm actually looking for a pullback into 1.077, which is a very tightly knit pullback. If I get the fib from the high to the low, yeah, so for this pullback, we're not even near 0.382, but I would consider a pullback there because of the characteristics of Euro right now. Normally, I wouldn't, but because of how price is shaped up, I think there's a good chance we bounce there. If not, then I'll look at this low here at 1.06. But yeah, taking into consideration the context of the market is huge as well. But anyway, we've got about 6 minutes until the news comes out, so I want to start switching my attention to GBP. The pound yen and pound USD are probably the the pound pairs that I'm actually most focused on right now. Um, and I'm interested to see what happens with these guys, because overall, I do think there could be some nice downside for both of them over the next few days. Pound yen, I'm expecting it to last for a while. Pound USD, I'm expecting it to push up. Of course, that's more to do with the USD. But yeah, rates expect to stay the same, so I'm not expecting much. Might have to even drop to like the 15-minute or the 5-minute chart to actually see some movement. Funny thing, I say all of this and then we have a massive move. But that's, of course, if the rates aren't changed. If the rates are changed for whatever reason, then that would be big, because, of course, the markets are not necessarily expecting that. Later today, we do have some USD news, jobless claims at 12:30. I will be live again later today, by the way, with Trader Nick on his channel. So if you do want to see more of my analysis or my thoughts on the news, um, make sure you check out that stream. That'll be on his channel. But yeah, we do have existing home sales at 2 o'clock as well. Then we've got inflation rate for yen. I'll keep an eye out for that. That's at 11:30 UK time. And then tomorrow we've got CAD retail sales, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm having a glance at next week. GDP. Okay, doesn't look like there's too much news next week. That's not bad, but yeah, we've got to get through the Bank of England first. I won't be live, by the way, tomorrow. I'll drop a post in the community tab and probably in the Telegram as well. I won't be live tomorrow. Unfortunately, I am away, but I will be live again later today. So do keep an eye on that stream. But of course, next week I'll be live as per usual. I'll do a little split screen here, so we can have a look at pound USD and pound yen at the same time. because why wouldn't we? So let me get to the 15-minute chart here. And what time frame is this? This is the hourly time frame. Is this pound USD? No, that's pound yen. So yeah, my expectation is not much, but we'll see. Yeah, there's the link to the Discord in the description, also at the top of the chat as well, free to join. I do share ideas there. Other people do as well. So if you want to check it out, feel free to do so. Link in the description. 5-minute chart, more fun. Isn't that the truth, Dark Sean? Isn't that the truth? Spoken with wisdom there. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. Like I said, I'm not in any pound pairs, so I'm not really too focused on this in terms of what's the reaction. I just want to see opportunities, really, whether it's bullish or bearish, because my focus is not really pound. My focus is always USD or yen or maybe Swiss. I already know what I'm looking at for pound USD, which is some retracement for pound USD. So even if we do see a big push to the upside for pound USD, I'm expecting us to eventually push back down again because I'm expecting some dollar strength to come back into the market. For pound yen, I'm overly bearish as well. So if this one does start to rally, I mean, I was looking at 196 over here for some shorts. I mean, that'd be a pretty big move for us to get there. So yeah, if we do start to rally for pound yen for whatever reason, I would still be interested in sales for that one as well. But I'm not going to be expecting a move that big. But yeah, it's been a while since I've had a look at some news on the 5-minute chart. Where's the... There we go. Make it a bit brighter. Okay, so we've got about a minute till the news comes out. Okay, let's see what's happening. Let's see what's happening. I don't really have any idea of what we're going to do here, bullish or bearish. If, of course, rates are raised for whatever reason, then we can probably expect to see a bullish pound. If rates are cut for whatever reason, then we'll probably see a bearish pound. If rates are the same, from my experience, we've kind of seen mixed. Sometimes it's bullish. I think it depends on like what I said in press conferences, which I don't normally pay attention to. So they'll probably have some reactions later in the day. But yeah, at the moment, looks like price is getting excited. The news is not out yet, but it looks like we're having a bit of a reaction. Things are looking pretty bearish. News is still not out yet. News is still not out yet. Okay, we've got the candle close. And we've had a bit of a bearish reaction, but it's flipped bullish and we're pushing up. And we're pushing up a lot. Let me see what the number was. Okay, it was 4.5. So rates stayed the same. Rates stayed the same. So what's that going to do to the market? Again, I'll wait for the full hour candle to close to really digest everything, because sometimes we react to bullish and then the next half an hour we kind of pull back all the way, or vice versa. At the moment, we are currently looking pretty bullish here. It is the 5-minute chart to take that into consideration. If I measure the pips there on this move, I know it's still early, we could still keep pushing. So far, it's about a 25, 26 pip move, 27, 28. Which again, not bad move to be honest. but I'll wait for the candle to close to really digest everything. In terms of big move, not much, to be honest. Because if I just flick to like the 4-hour chart here for pound, it's not really looking like much, is it? I think the candle was already around here when it closed, so it is flipping bullish. But we'll see. We'll see how the candle closes, because the 4-hour candle's got 58 minutes to a close. So I'd wait for that candle to close. But to be honest, if it does flip bullish like that and respect support, it probably would invite more upside there for pound back into the highs, and we'll continue to move in this channel. I'm still looking for us to eventually sell off. So even if it does bring us to new highs, I'll be expecting us to eventually put a top in and then reverse. In pound yen's case, let me just make the screen big again. In pound yen's case, if we do push to the upside, then I mean, I'm not really looking to short at these prices. This is still where I'm looking to short myself. Might be some shorts on the lower time frame at the high there, but that's not really what I'm interested in, because the whole plan was to try and find an next lower high here, which it could be placed in already, but I was looking to see if we can test the trend line first. Okay, expecting slightly hawkish reaction. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing bullish behavior at the moment right now, so looks like we're getting that. 1.305, that's good for rejection. Is that for pound USD? Uh, 1.305. Okay, right at the top there. Yeah, we could see that, to be fair, as price makes a new high back into that kind of top end of the channel. Could then see price turn around from there. So yeah, that could be a situation. I'm still expecting pound USD to eventually drop. It looks very fatigued to me, but maybe the news gives us one more rally to the upside. And 1.28 to buy back up. Yeah, I'm looking at 1.28, 1.27. Either 1.28 is the retest of the high here on the left, and then 1.27 the retest of this area here as well. So those are the two levels I'm looking to buy pound USD from. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on that. How's the other pound pairs looking? Of course, pound Aussie, pound NZD have already been bullish, so now these guys are flying up some more now, just about taking up the highs. Pound NZD, what we saying? Looking very bullish there. Pound seat chef, that's probably pushed up a little bit as well. Oh, pound seat chef looking quite bullish actually. And pound euro pound, that's it. I remember there's one more pair. Euro pound, yeah, look like it's breaking through support there. So at the moment, it's a bullish pound. I'll still wait for the 4-hour candle to close, but it looks like pound is certainly bullish at the moment. 1.38 for target. Yeah, I'm looking at 1.4 for target there for pound USD long term. Of course, the next big target for pound USD would be the swing high at which is 1.34, and then I'm looking at least 1.38, but I think 1.4 is just a big psychological level. So I think that's where price is going to be attracted to, but more or less the same area where we're looking for price to get to. So yeah, I do think pound USD is going to be bullish for quite a while. Same with euro. So yeah, interesting moves for the year ahead. Anyway, guys, we have come to the end of the stream. I won't be live again tomorrow. I'll be live again from next week as usual, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. I'll put a notice up so you guys are aware of that. I will be live again later today, however, actually in about 40 minutes time with Nick on his stream. So make sure you check that out. If you have enjoyed the stream though, guys, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. I do really appreciate everyone who has liked, subscribed. It does help the channel out. And of course, hit the bell too so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Check out the Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. You can find updates there regarding elevating traders. You can discuss different trading opportunities. I share ideas there what I'm looking to trade as well. And of course, you can do the same. So if you are looking to join the community, make sure you check it out. Links in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great Thursday. All right, take care, Matt. We'll catch hopefully you guys on next stream, if not from next week. But have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next one.